Okay, I said to do drums and bass next, but I'm running into a problem here. I really want the 3x oscillator melody, like the double counter melody thing down here, to stick out a lot. But it's like really hard for that to happen when like this is going at it. Like I tried to lower this down an octave to see if it would help. And like it kind of does a little bit, but then this gets harder here, and they're still kind of crowding each other out a little bit. I want both of them to like be equally listenable, but I don't think that's really possible because there's too many notes going on at once. It's like impossible to actually like focus on anything. So I need to figure something out here. Alright, so I think this is a little bit better. I might still change this around later, but I feel like that does a decent enough job at de-emphasizing this while still like having it exist, while like making room for this to be the main thing. Like I'm trying to like have this rise up and temporarily become the main melody, and like this kind of becomes the counter melody. I'm not sure, because it's hard for me to tell since I'm the one actually writing it. I can't like pay attention to it as like new ears and like see like where my mind takes me. I'm not sure like if I'm more likely to pay attention to this or this when that happens, but I'll just have to see later on, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, this track is still in very desperate need of drums and bass, and I think I'm going to start with the drums. So let me see what we have here. There might actually be something good in the Super Mario World thing. I mean, good is very subjective here, but let's see. It's a SMW percussion. What we got? Alright, we can probably make do with this. So a lot of times when you're making your beats, you're going to have a separate track for everything, like one for your kick, one for your snare, and etc, etc. But with sound fonts, they tend to all be on the same track. So like you just have one thing, and then each note corresponds to a different thing. And the downside of this is that you can't pitch shift them as easily, because if this was just a snare, then I could click right here, but then I could also click like one note lower and it would be like that snare but pitched down a little bit lower. But sometimes you also have things like this, where it kind of handles that for you, just in case you do want to do that. But really, it just comes down to what you're looking for, and if that sound that you want is in a sound font or it's a separate sample, or you could take a sound from a sound font and put it in as its own separate sample by recording with Edison or something like that. But I will go into that if I ever need to. Just make a drum channel. Alright, so I played a very rough sketch of what I'm aiming for. Now I need to clean the absolute hell out of this. Alright, so I hit Ctrl Q to quantize all of these and move them into their correct spots. This part over here actually turned out surprisingly well, considering I just hit random notes on my keyboard to play this. Like, these aren't even notes down here, and neither is that. But then this, I accidentally made that sound, and that actually fits in nicely, so I might spread this throughout the rest of this. So my MIDI controller made this about 20 times easier, because having different velocities is extremely important in drum tracks. Like, let me show you what this looks like if they're all exactly the same. Versus also, pro tip, if you need to edit a note, but there's another note like over top of it and you don't feel like bringing the other one out of the way, just control click and select this one, and then you can just move this however you want it down here without affecting the other one, because normally if you try to move just this by itself, it moves this and then that's affecting both of them. But yeah, changing up your velocities are extremely important in drums, especially when you have like two snares right in a row like this, like towards the end of a measure. Like, that is like very important to have them both be at a different volume, otherwise it's kind of like it just doesn't sound nearly as good. I mean, in most cases at least. I'm sure there's certain situations where you will want things to be exactly the same, kind of like how I'm using a Super Nintendo steel drum as the lead melody of this song, because there are just like certain genres and styles of music where like things that may normally be considered bad are good because they kind of add to the overall feel of it. But in most cases, just make sure you're like varying all this stuff up. Again, it helps a lot when you have a MIDI controller, because then you don't have to... I didn't do any of this manually. This is all just however hard I hit my fingers on the keys. This is how it came out. I need to give this its own separate pattern now. And put this over here. And now take this over here, because I want this to then... like after this part of the song ends, I want it to come back into this part. It's... hold on. Like this. Oh wait, I need this swing back up here too. Something along those lines. And then I want this part over here to be a sort of build up to the drums. So I'm gonna take this over here, click on it, click Make Unique. And now I'm going to edit this one and take away a bunch of stuff. Alright, so here's the original, and then here is this version, so it's a slightly more minimal version of it. So the song starts, and then this builds up. And this part happens. And then once that ends, it's like... starts to really get into the groove of it. So like I might change some things around on these still, but that is the basic pattern that I'm trying to follow. Alright, but I gotta put in those noises though. Oh, and this part should probably repeat, so Control B. But we don't want the swing to cut out here, so remember earlier I said to drag this part? This time, because you see when we do that we're affecting both of them, but if we just do this then we're only affecting this, so then it doesn't have that drop now, and we can just put this back over here. Okay, it actually did still affect it, hold on. So the swing's there. And then, I guess I'll just put this here again. Oh wait, is it because you can still see that? What if I just do that? Okay, yeah, because at the very end, apparently it still like detects that drop, so I just have to move it back just a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna put this here just to make it slightly more organized looking. Oh, and speaking of organization, I'm going to take these things and... so a good idea usually is to put your automation clips underneath of the thing it's affecting. So like I would move this piano somewhere else and then I'd put this right here, because then it's right underneath the synthesizer it's affecting. But because I'm trying to like show you as many things as possible here, and I like having the playlist down here, like some people have it all the way up like that, but I do like having it down here. So I'm going to move this down and then bring everything, including the drums, back up, just so it's easier to see the drums now when I'm up like this. Because you don't really have to worry about this too much, as long as you like can keep track of which one it goes to. I just had an idea for this part over here. So like if I move the whistle to the side during this part by dragging this pan thing, then it becomes a lot easier to focus on the other thing that I'm trying to have focus on, but then I still get to keep these notes here. So I am going to create an automation clip for the pan. And now what you do here is you right click and click copy value, and then on either the minimum or the maximum thing for your automation clip, you right click and paste it. And then you select your second value that you want. So like I want it, let me see here. around there, so I'm going to copy that and then paste it on the other value for the automation clip. And now the bottom of this corresponds to the panning being in the center, and then the top of this corresponds to the panning being on the right. I also want the panning to like move along with these 3 notes right here. So I'm going to place it right here and then just move it so it like right here. So like watch the panning for the thing. So that happens. I'm gonna hold down this and then like do that a little bit too. Actually no, like this maybe. Yeah, like that. Oh, but problem though, now it is defaulting to this state over here. So we need to reset this and then right click it and then click init song with this position. And now this position will be the default. And this changes it. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Oh wait, but I need to actually extend this though, because that needs to go back to normal right after that. So I'm gonna have that there, and then this over here, and then I'm just gonna have another instant drop kind of thing here. Whoops, hold on. Oh god. Alright, and then it's back to normal. So that's how you do that. And if you look to your north, you will find that sound that plays whenever you're riding Yoshi. Honestly, you can't even hear this at all in the final mix. But I feel safe knowing that it's there, so I'm gonna keep it. Alright, well we've got about all the drums we need right now. If we add more variations to the song later on, then we may need some more patterns, but that's good for now. So join me next time and we will start on the bass.